Welcome back to the Kick and Post YouTube channel. Today we're going to be breaking down the 5 things you need to do in order to succeed in your fantasy football league.
Yes,
We're
yes.
gonna jump right into it. I didn't mean to cut you off there, but the one thing that to me is very important is knowing who you're playing with, knowing the people in your league, what they like to do. It can help you get your guys and base your strategy around that. It might sound a little dirty, but it's only beneficial to you.
I mean, at the end of the day, especially if we're playing in money leagues, we're trying to win. I'm not saying be awful to
Dirty.
a person, but if you know that you have somebody in my league, you have somebody like me in your league who likes to do a certain strat, try to take advantage of that.
Agreed. Which actually leads into something you like to do, and I think it's very
Yeah,
important that everybody does this. Is you target scarce positions like running back, or if you can get that early tight end, that can
hmm
help boost your team uh, because those positions are few and far between in terms of
exactly.
rankings.
It's one of those things where it's like you want to target positions that it's harder to find the top players at and give yourself as many shots to have the top end talent at that position rather than going with like a flashy position or what you think is a quick move. Because if you do your research, the difference between quarterback 1 and quarterback 10 isn't that far between. But if you look at running back 1 compared to running back 10, there is a bit of a gap. So positional scarcity is something you should definitely be looking at when you're making your drafts, especially since we're doing redraft tips.
The third thing you need to start doing is buy production, not hype. Like,
Yes.
by the numbers. Don't just be like, oh, Trevor Lawrence is the number 1 draft pick. I should draft him in the 4th round of my draft. That's just not like viable. I mean, in certain leagues, Dynasty, Superflex, of course, that's super viable, but
Yeah.
not
But you
in
got it.
like a redraft, one quarterback league. Not even in a quarterback league. You assume like the Jags aren't going to be the best team, you know.
Rookies usually take a longer time to develop as it is. Um, so you should pay attention to that side of the coin as well. And don't just buy the name on the jersey. You'll have a guy like Brandon Cooks who's been a consistent producer for 7 years, but people will still take somebody who, because the name's a little bit flashier, and AJ Green, say both guys are late round guys. Give me all the shares of Brandon Cook instead of AJ Green because he's still younger and the production is there.
Right, AJ Green is a perfect example for that. Um, Also, maybe like David Johnson, he used to be a top 3 pick. He's not the top 3
Yeah.
pick that he was. He still has some value, but not to the point that you need to draft him in the 4th, 5th, 3rd round.
But
You can
if you
get
have the
him.
option of David Johnson or Damian Harris, for what we're trying to tell you, definitely check out a Damian Harris. He's younger and there's higher potential there than a David Johnson, who now that backfield's looking a little bit crowded and that offense isn't going to be a valuable offense fantasy wise or real life wise, in my opinion.
The fourth thing to do to succeed in your fantasy draft is to be prepared to pivot. You don't want
Yeah.
to have one set strategy and then you get sniped last pick. Then you're fumbling what to do. You don't want to just jump to your next pick. You want to have your set strategy, know the guys you want on the board. If that person comes off, have a backup plan.
I agree with that. I agree with that. No eggs in one basket type play. Oh, I didn't even know he was back there. Oh, that's
Um,
Keelan Cole.
yes, sir.
Okay. Uh, but I agree with that. Fifth pick, I mean, fifth thing to do in your drafts is to know your back end picks, your sleepers. This is huge. I like this especially in fantasy, but in redraft, this is huge because, in my opinion, it's very hard for you to lose your draft at the front end picks. Like a lot of those guys, if they stay healthy, you're going to do well. But you could definitely win your draft in those back end picks. Guys stop caring who's back there because people get tired of drafting. Guys didn't really do their research on the late round guys. But you can find a diamond in the rough if you do your research and plan out like what you plan to do. Oh gosh, I'm like that throw in those back end picks. One example I'll give is when Darren Waller was blowing up in preseason and in training camp that year, I was able to get him up off of waivers, and he ended up being my starting tight end the entire year and a huge asset, especially in redraft trade wise when injuries started happening to other players, and he wasn't even drafted. So if you do your research and target those back end guys, because everybody knows the front end guys, if you learn your sleepers, do a little bit of research to the back end, you can set yourself up for something amazing.
There's always plenty of value to be found in the later rounds that people don't even realize when they're drafting kickers or defenses. You got players that can average 10 points and up, like Cole Beasley. You got Antonio Brown. There's so many names, especially in the receiver position, which kind of goes back to the scarce
Positional
position
scarcity. Yeah.
point, that you need to target like the value guys early. But
I mean, look at it from a real football standpoint. How many receivers are on the field usually compared to the running back that gets majority of the touches? You'll have at least two receivers on a team averaging about 20% to 25% target share. Most time when there's a bell cow running back, they're averaging 60% of the touches out of the backfield. If you're in a league with 10 people, there's about 16 to 18 guys who average that kind of running back touch percentage. It's slim that you're going to find somebody with the volume and the potential to do well for you at that position. While you could look late round and there's a guy like Corey Davis who's probably going to average 30% target share in New York, and you could get him in the double digit rounds. He's not as flashy as like a DeAndre Hopkins, but
he'll get the job done.
yeah,
He'll have a week that he scores 20. He'll be
exactly.
perfect for a bye week. Just
That's
knowing
what
your
people
back end picks
overlook.
is just super important.
Exactly.
And that is the 5 things that you need to do in order to win your league, to win your draft, to succeed in fantasy, man.
I couldn't agree more. Some great advice right there.
And on that note, all right, y'all boys.